Hi guys, I'm Sebastian. I've done this tutorial about 5 times now and I'm getting pretty angry, so I'm going to finish it off here. This tutorial is about modeling this heart and then rendering it with all these sweet little hearts behind it. Yeah, we're going to be doing, I guess, kind of lighting. Not really. We're going to be doing something along those lines. I'm going to be doing some cool materials, copied straight from Blender Cookie, and we're going to be doing vignetting and compositing and everything lovely. Yeah, this tutorial is going to be pretty easy. I'm going to talk a little bit about the inspiration, since in the previous tutorials I tried to do that while modeling and ended up failing completely. Also, my mic is a bit more low quality, in case you haven't noticed, because I'm not using the other mic. Yeah, so the inspiration behind this is, oh, I saved it, I'm mumbling, I was remembering back to when I first started out doing Blender, and I was remembering trying to model a heart and how angry I was with it because I was failing at it so miserably. So I thought, you know, I'm really good at Blender now. I'm gonna try it again. And I'm not really good at Blender. I've only been using it for a year, okay? So I tried it again, and once again I failed completely for the same reasons. I'm not gonna talk about them because it's gonna waste more time. But I ended up modeling this, and it's pretty nice in my opinion. Oh, by the way, you might have not have noticed, but low samples simply because, like I said, I've done this about 1,000 times, and I had to render this all over again. And I didn't want to, like, make it take more time, so I rendered at a really low sample rate with my CPU. That's why it's so low. I'll render at a higher sample rate for the tutorial. Anyways, let's just get started, because this is taking way too long already. I'm going to open up this new scene. I'm going to hit 5 to go into orthographic mode, take away the toolbar, pull in this referenced photo, although most people probably don't need it since the heart's a pretty simple shape to make. Before I start modeling, I'm just going to grab this and this, box select, delete them, and add in a mirror modifier. Copy it straight away and change it from X to Y, turn on clipping for both of them. And now I'll start modeling. So I'll just pull this out, and some basic box modeling. I like the way I'm doing this now because it's very simple, you know? This really talks about how modeling should be, and a lot of people, I'm not going to mention them, don't really know like how to teach modeling. But because they sort of try to explain it like, you know, topology is the way the model flows, you know, which is true. But who the hell's going to understand that's never done 3D modeling before, you know? Like, I mean, I could go into more detail about how they say it, but really, modeling is just about, not necessarily, it's not making things symmetrical, that's completely wrong, no. I don't know where that came from. It's about, you know, it's just about starting off, like, in a 3D platform, it's about starting off with the most simple shape as possible, most of the time. If you're not doing sculpting, well, no, even sculpting is the same. Yeah, so it's about starting off with the most simple shape as possible, and then sort of subdividing it until, subdividing and adding more details layer after layer. So you can't just add lots of details straight away, and you can't just talk about it to people like I'm doing now. You have to actually model things, just stop talking, which is why I hate talking so much during my tutorials. Which is very ironic, since I'm talking a lot right now. Well, I guess really I'm just trying to fill the time, so it's not just me modeling this. This is pretty simple for most people. This wasn't simple for me, because I'm a terrible 3D artist. Well, not a terrible 3D artist, just not incredibly good at 3D. I'm an alright artist. I think I'm an alright artist. I'm going to be posting my Facebook page in case you guys want to see any of my other works and my photos collection. I'm going to be posting my Facebook account in case you guys want to friend me or something. I don't have Twitter. Yeah, that's alright. I'm going to add in one more loop cut right here. And over here. So as you can see, the topology for this is quite nice. It's nicely shaped. Anyways, since we started off with a cube, this shape right here is kind of messed up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flatten it, grab all of this with Alt-click, and then just deselect this, and yeah. Now I'm going to go SY0 to flatten it, and grab all these faces, and pull them out. And I'm just going to grab this loop, oh no, God, too many extra. Okay, and I'll just grab this loop. Okay, I'm gonna pull it out. No, that's bad. That's not bad. I'm not gonna make it. This is where I start failing. Okay, what am I gonna do? I'm gonna pull out all of this. Pull that out, since I want the top to be much more fat than the bottom. And I'm gonna pull out all of this. And I'm gonna make all this a little bit thinner near the bottom. Not a lot, but a bit. That's my dogs barking right now, if you can hear them. That's them. Maybe just somebody who really knows how to bark like a dog. Yeah, that's alright. That was pretty easy. In the last tutorial, I ended up modeling them. I'm like, okay, pull out these faces. And I'm like, no, that's not right. Okay, so I didn't put them back, but I pulled them out. And I'm like, okay, I'll pull out these faces. Then I just kept on pulling out faces, and it looked bad. Okay, yeah, so I'm just going to start off. Maybe I want to make this a bit more cute, so I'm just going to pull this in a bit. Pull this in a bit more rounded. Oh yeah, here we go. And I'm going to zero that and pull that in a bit. That's looking a bit improportional. So I'm just going to make sure this line is nice and smooth. It's not... There we go. So it's just about making sure that, with the heart, it's just about making sure that everything is nice and smooth and even and not having any stuff pulling out. But like over here, I can see that this is out a bit too far, so I'm going to pull it in just a little bit. Yeah, there we go. That's what we want. Yeah, that's exactly right. So I'm going to go over here and bump up the subdivision down to like 4. That's alright. Oh yeah, well, since we used the subdivision surface, we have to pull all this out again. That's a thing about using it. A, B, A, B, A, B. That's what I'm doing, by the way, just A and then B. A for deselecting everything you have in selection, obviously, and B for box selecting. Once again, for you beginners out there. Maybe I haven't mentioned it yet. I don't know, I've done this tutorial a lot, I said that already. My grammar's getting worse by the second. I need to end this tutorial soon. Okay. Oh no. A, B. It's getting longer by the minute. Okay, here we go. Hope you guys can hear me. Yep, that's about right. Since this is a nice cute heart, I don't want it to be too... I don't know. Bad looking. You know, too... Well, you know, too M-shaped. Anyways, yeah, that's about right. Oh, yeah, I will save this. I'll save this as exactly what I saved the last one as. Art tutorial 5000. Okay. Yeah, that's alright. Well, it's a bit flat, so I'm just going to pull out these faces. I don't want this to be really very circular. I want to get just about like that shape. There we go, that's nice. And I'll make it a bit more fat, since I want it to be a nice fat heart. Okay, I'm going to duplicate this and scale it down. And I'm going to bring subdivision amount to... Yeah, I'm just going to delete the subdivision surface. I will apply all the modifiers, since this is a finished model. And I will apply these modifiers too for this heart. And scale it down. And then position my... Oh, let me get rid of my background image. I didn't actually supply you guys with that, since I didn't think you really need it, since heart's pretty simple shape. There we go. Yeah. I'm going to switch over to the cycles render, and I'm going to set up my lights. Really very, very simple lighting. I'm just going to duplicate a bunch of lights, because I want there to be lots of highlights along it. It'll be interesting looking. And I'm just going to variate their... I don't know, their thing. Oh my god. Their position, you know? You know. I'm a teenager. You know. You can tell because I'm saying you know. Can't you? I'll actually have a bit more on the underside. There we go. Okay. Now switching to camera view, I'm going to set up for my rendering. I'm going to do this really professionally, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to split this screen into like 3 shapes. I just realized I don't actually know the material setup for my material. I might have to go back and look at that later. Oh, wrong. No, material. Use nodes. Okay, I'm going to add a new material to this. I'm going to fix up the lights later, by the way, change the colors and such. Use nodes. I'm going to call this car paint, because this is actually the exact same material that I learned how to create in the Blender Cookie tutorial. I'll show it to you, I guess, in case you guys want to see that tutorial. Going into Google Chrome, Blender Cookie. Man, I'm looking less and less professional by the minute. Look, like I'm showing off all the other tutorial expert guys that I like. Yeah, well, I'm young blood. Okay, anyways, I think it was like how to render a car. And in this tutorial, Jonathan Williamson shows you how to render a really cool car model he modeled. Render it, not model it. I'm not sure where it is. I don't know why. Like, honestly, Blender Cookie should fix up their search engine. I think it's in the it's in the first tutorial, and he shows you how to create this really, really awesome car paint. That's all I need to tell you. I'll be right back. I just need to go and copy my my car paint node, and then I can show you guys how it works so you can copy it. I'm just going to pause the tutorial really quickly. Hi guys, I've loaded in my material. I'm just going to go over here and make it a red color since it's the red material. There we go. I'm going to switch this to the rendered view. And yep, it's a pretty sweet material. I'm also going to load in an environment. Oh man, I can't give you guys this environment. I just realized that. Okay, well, you guys can go online and look up a sweet environment to use. I'm going to use one from Video Copilot. Studio One Blur. That's nice. Yeah. So for this scene, I suggest you see this. I suggest getting an environment that has lots of lights in the background and is warmish. Is closer to the red tone. So see, this environment is quite close to a more red tone. And that's almost it for the lighting. I'm going to bring this down a bit since I don't want this to be too defining. I just want to supply some reflections from my my heart. Right now I'm going to go over here, change this to 720, and I'm going to go into not like that, sampling. I'm going to turn clamp to 0.96 since those lights are a little bit bright. Oh yeah, I have to show you the guys the material. That's important. Okay, so here's the material. You guys just look at it, copy it. In case you guys can't actually see. Now this should be pretty high definition. I think this is in 720, so you guys should be able to see how this is set up. It's fairly simple, but it's a really cool material, and it's a lot to do with Fresnel and facing.
3 days until
Bye, Daniel. I'm doing a tutorial. Leave. Thank you. I don't know if you could hear his voice, but that was my little brother Daniel. I live in my parents' house. I'm a child. Please still watch my videos. I'm not going to do this tutorial again. Usually if someone walked in, I would just completely restart. That's me cracking my knuckles, by the way, if you can hear it. Yeah, this is bad. Alright, so here's the material. Look at it, copy it. There we go. Let's see how long this has been. This has been 13 minutes. That's way longer than I wanted it to be. Alright, so I better go fast. Okay, so, material set up. Yeah, lighting, not actually set up. Okay, let's set up the lighting. I'm going to go over here to all of these, and I'm going to make sure they're all using the nodes so I can control the brightness. There we go. Use nodes, use nodes, use nodes, use nodes. I wish it would just be use nodes on default for lights, because you know who is not. Yeah, it should be a default. Anyways, actually pull these back a bit. They're a bit too close. Scale them out a bit. Same with this. Rotate the scale a bit. There we go. That's good. Okay, so now I'm just gonna go over here, and I want the lights in the back to be closer to a blue. I want them all to be different colors so I get some nice variation. you know, they can, like, I'm gonna make this one, you know, a bit brighter. Now these ones in the front, I want those to be closer to yellow. The ones higher up, like this one, so this is gonna act a lot more like a key light. So I'm gonna make this quite a lot more orange. Go 145 for the energy. That's nice. I'm gonna go over here. I'm gonna change this one to actually 200 since it's kind of far away and I don't care for moving it. I don't want to move it. 145. I'm gonna change most of these to 145. 145. Did I not? Yeah. Okay. Here we go. Change color for that one. 145. 45. Nice deep blue. This is not high up at all, so it's not even going to be noticed. So I'm actually going to... Oh, cancel. Okay. So a bit higher. You guys can, so the renderer can actually see it. Yeah, I'm mumbling a lot, guys. Okay, so as you can see, this is already looking really, really pretty. And that's mainly because of the material, and this lighting is not at all, like, beautiful. I just want to give this thing a lot of highlights and variation, so that's all I'm doing with that. Make it nice and blue, like 200 because I want variation. Make this orangey, 125. I don't want it to be too intense. I'm gonna bring this one out over here so that we have a bit more variation in the colors. I know I'm mumbling, guys, but it's late where I am. Okay, so yeah, that's probably good enough. Yeah, that's good enough. I'll make this yellow. That's good enough. Yeah, okay. Now I'm going to set up the particle system that involves having all these hearts splayed out. I'm also going to name this heart. Yeah, and I'm also going to set it so that this camera's focus is the heart. There. Yeah, so the particle system is really easy to set up. I'm going to turn this off for a minute. Is just a plain plane. Bring it up nice and high. 7G scale up. Be relatively large because I want the camera to have a sense of. I don't want everything packed into one tiny little spot. That's what I'm saying. Okay. Now, yeah. Go over here. Particle system. It's not in view to the camera. It's a little bit higher. Okay. Not in view to the camera. I'm mumbling a lot, guys. Just watch what I'm doing. Don't listen to anything I'm saying. It's probably just gibberish. Okay. Let that all rain down. And I'm going to go over here and change the thing to object. And then change it to... actually, it's not going to be hard, is it? I'm going to call this heart low poly. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add a dash, underscore actually, and then I'm going to just make sure these have no spaces so that it's super professional. Something. Okay, yeah. Heart low poly. There we go. These are all really, really small, which I don't want. I'm going to go over here and render, which I was already at. I'm just going to make sure they're about the same size as my heart. Now, I can already tell that this plane is not large enough since these hearts are really, really crowded. So I'm going to scale up the plane a lot. There's 1,000 hearts we're dealing with. So yeah, we've done a lot. I don't want this to be just the corner because that's vastly obvious. Go back, do this. That's alright. Oh yeah, turn up the lifetime to 250. Or 1,000 or whatever. It's a single frame. Now, I don't know. Should I do this with rotation or without rotation? I want this to be adorable, so... Let's see, was this one adorable? This one was pretty adorable. I think I'll go without rotation. But what I am going to do is I'm going to go over here and randomize the size so that it has more depth. That sounded nasty. And I'm going to... No, it didn't. Never mind. Okay, yeah, now I'm going to just scale these down a bit since I want them to be a bit more small and adorable. Go back into rendering view mode, and I'm going to... Oh, bring up the plane. There we go. I should just go back to the beginning and let recache. Probably incorrect terminology. I want to find a good frame to do this. Yeah, one where it's a little bit in front of the camera. because then the depth of field really takes off. Okay, yeah, that's right. Now, something cool that is actually okay about my lighting setup is that it's set up so it's only focused around these. It's not a sun lamp. It's only focused around this one heart, and all these other hearts are sort of darker in the background, so it makes this heart a lot easier to focus on, which is neat. They're actually a bit too dark, so I'm going to bring this up to 0.9. Maybe just 1. Maybe just... No, that's fine. Yeah. That's... No, I want them to be brighter. More... No. Okay, I'll just leave it, alright? It doesn't have to be perfect. Oh, it does. This is taking too long. How long are we at? Oh my god, 20. Okay, I'm gonna finish this really soon, I promise. Okay, so there's the hearts. I'm gonna turn the depth of field for the camera. I'm gonna do radius. I'm gonna do 6 blades. And I'm gonna bump up the aperture size so that we get some depth of field. I'm not sure how much I used my original render. You know, the really awesome thing about them all being rotated is that you could see all the lovely highlights, but now I'm not sure if you'll be able to see them. No, yeah, you will. I just haven't turned off the background yet. Yeah, so there's the background. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go into Film and turn on Transparent, and this way, it's transparent. Yeah, there's no the background's still being applied to as a lighting thing, but it's black, not there, transparent. No background. I'm not sure how many ways I could mess this up. Okay, yeah, I've actually gone ahead 1 frame since I didn't like that heart in front of the camera. It looked kind of wonky. So yeah, that's I feel like I could add something more. I think I'll just bump up the lighting for this one to like, oh no, not that one. Maybe this one to like 300 because I want there to be one really bright key light. Yep, that's about right. Yeah, okay. I'm just, you know, I could always add more, but this is a tutorial, you guys can figure it out yourselves. No, that's wrong. Other way around. Anyways, yeah, rendering setup. Let's go over here into render and set this to 125 samples. I'm going to go into my performance. I think I'll use 4. I'll use all 4 of my processors. I have an ATI GPU, by the way. That's why I'm using processors. I'm gonna switch this over to static because I think that's the one that's supposed to be faster. I think 64 is fine, and yeah, I think I can render. Unless I want to do a few more layers. Where is it? I got layers. A few more of these. We don't really need AO. We don't need shadow. Don't really need any of these. I didn't use them, so whatever. Okay, I'm just gonna go over here, join area, and join. Oh god, and join area. F12, and we're gonna start rendering. I'm gonna pause the tutorial here because I do believe I set the dimensions, didn't I? Yeah, because this is gonna take a while. So see ya. Be there when it's finished, and then I'll do the compositing with you guys. Okay. Hi guys, yeah, the render's finished. This is how it's looking. Let's get into the compositing. Hooray! I finally said a sentence without saying I'm gonna add in a viewer node with Control Shift, and that adds in a viewer node straight away. Go SX0 because I'm all about symmetry. All about symmetry. That was a bad sentence. Okay, I'm gonna bring this out. I'm going to... what should I do next? Oh yeah, I'm gonna add my background. I'm going to do that with an alpha over, since it does it better. I'm going to bring this into the bottom and put my alpha into the factor. I'm going to make my alpha, or my background somewhere around the color of this heart, but much darker. Not that much darker. Just a little bit brighter than those hearts. Yeah, that's about right. Okay. Next, I'm going to add in a few filters actually. I'm going to add in 1 filter. I'm going to add in a filter to the main image to soften it up. No, not to the alpha. There we go. That's a lot nicer. I can plug this into the bottom. Got this, and now I have. What? Oh, okay. Now I have a background. There we go. So, yeah, I actually did put the filter all the way up because the reflections are blurred, and I have depth of field, so you can't really see that my filter's gone way overboard. But yeah, I wouldn't generally suggest doing that with stuff that actually has detail. Yeah, that's right. I'm gonna add in the fog. So color. No, I'm gonna add in a vector normalize, and I'm gonna talk about it a bit because I want you guys to understand this stuff. So this is my Z-pass, and it's white. You may be wondering about that, and you might have wondered about that when you looked about depth of field. You know, how is this a Z-pass if it's white? A Z-pass should look like this, and it does. Well, you see, a Z-pass, the one that Blender, or yeah, the way Blender makes it is it makes it so that it's more than 100% white, so it's 32 bits. And that means that it's white on our computer screens. It's more white than we can see. It's past our spectrum. Or no, not exactly. I don't want to go into the science. But anyways, it's more than 100% white. So what this does is it normalizes it. It takes away the white that's left over, and it leaves this. So with this, I can go over here and add in a converter and a color ramp. Yeah. The reason I'm not using a mapping, which is what most people use when they make a fog, most people use when they make a fog, is because, well, it's a bit more confusing and hard to understand, while color ramp is very easy to understand and works just as well. I'm going to plug this into the factor, and right now what I'm saying to this mix node is use this image, and then wherever it's white, apply this white. So as you can see, when I make it darker, it doesn't actually do anything. It just applies a darker color, which is not what I want. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change this to screen. Change this to screen. So now when I make this a darker color, it is applied less, and it's more like a fog. Over here, I'm going to make so the heart is 100% black. So I'll pull in the black, and then just pull this in a little bit more. There we go. And now I'm going to change this to a much more red color. What color of these? Yeah. I'm going to darken it a lot. And I'm going to make it a slightly different color. Make it a bit brighter. I want it to be a fog that's obvious. Well, not super obvious, but obvious enough that you can understand that it's a fog. That's alright. I think I'll make my background less pink, though. That's no problem. It's because the fog is more pink. I'll change the fog color a bit. Make it a bit more saturated and lovely. Okay, that's alright. I'll make it a bit brighter because it really isn't noticeable right now. There we go. That's good enough. Okay. I have to say that's I'm like Jimmy too. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna go over here and add in a color ramp, and this is our final. Oh no, I'm gonna show you guys how to make a vignette, which is fun. Yeah. So first, add in a matte ellipse mask. Go over here. You can also use a distort node for this, but I just like doing it with the ellipse mask because it feels more natural, I suppose. This is more how I would do it if I wasn't doing post-processing in Blender. I'm sure there's a way to get it exact, but I don't really care. I'm going to add in a converter and a math. So what this math is going to do is it's going to say anything that's not 100% black, make it 100% black. Well, it'll say that once I make it greater than. So anything greater than black, I believe, becomes white. Now I'm going to change this to 0. And now you see it's become like this. So anything that wasn't 100% black, and none of that was 100% black, has become white. Yeah. yeah, I'm gonna go over here and add in a filter. Blur. I actually confused myself a lot just there. And I'm gonna change it to fast Gaussian relative on the Y, 25 by 25 by 25. And since I want to use this vignette again, I'm going to change this into a group, and again in another project file, and I'm going to spell it correctly, vignette. A lot of people would spell it vignette with a Y, but I spell it vignette because that's spelled. I think it is actually. And now I'm going to add in a multiply. Just do this. Mix with this here. Put this in the top. Change it to multiply. There we go. And there's our vignette. I'm going to apply it 100% because it's a very blurred out vignette and it's a romance image. So generally, for romantic looking images, you want a red and very blurred vignette. That's actually kind of a rule. Kind of like the rule of thirds, if you know anything about that, which I'm not going to talk about since it'll take too long. Now we're going to do our final color correction. We're almost done, guys, and I think we're at about half an hour, right? 30 minutes or so. Yeah, about half an hour. What I'm going to do, since with my last image, or this one, all these things were rotated, and the normals were facing this way, so the reflection was turning up more. Or the normals, when it's rotated like this, the normals are facing outward, so the camera can see the reflection more, because there's Fresnels in the material. You guys might understand what I'm saying, you might not. Anyways, so the reflection and the highlights turned up more on these guys, and they turned up a bit brighter. Unlike with this wasn't rotated at all, so it didn't turn up brighter. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bump up the highlight, which is this end, I think. This wheel is highlights, this one's midtones, this one's shadows, or darker ones. I'm going to make this a lot brighter. Oh, I haven't connected it to the composite. There we go. Or to the viewer. So remember to connect it to the composite, or the viewer. Yeah. There we go, so I've bumped up the highlights a bit. Now I'm going to actually bump up the shadows, since that's mainly going to affect the background parts a bit more. Hopefully it won't affect my foreground one too much. Oh no, we're going to bump up the shadows. Bump up the shadows. Oh no, bump down the shadows because I want less darkness. I'm confused. Okay, down a bit more maybe. I don't know what I'm thinking. I'm thinking bump up the shadows. With the last one, I brought down the shadows. With this one, I want to bring them up, right? No, it's never a good idea to do that. I'm just going to bring them down. Now that's very, very red, like deathly red. So I'm going to change that to more, just a bit more like that, a bit more sweet. Although I'm not really loving how red, the way that is red, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here, RGB curves, or I'm going to go into the midtones, I'm just going to add in blue. Add in a bit of blue. Bit of purple blue. There we go, that's really nice, I like that. That actually may be a bit better than the first one. Yeah, that's quite nice. Okay, here it is, guys. You've created, after 30 minutes, you've created this really, really nice looking image of this lovely candy heart and this nice looking background. I don't think I actually gave you guys the environment, did I? Yeah, I actually can't give it to you since it's a Video Copilot texture environment from Element. Just look it up, okay? I'm not explaining it to you. Yeah, just go out there and find a warm reddish environment with lots of bright spots, and then that'll do good. Remember to copy my material. And yeah, you've done this, guys. Really good job. Hope you enjoyed the tutorial. And I'm out. Stop.